This is your weekly trip to paradise, Louisiana style, with Gary Risponi and Don Dubuque. Paradise, Louisiana is presented by Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Pods, moving and storage solved. Baton Rouge Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change, Louisiana Fish Fry Products, and by CCA Louisiana and the CCA Louisiana Star Tournament.
Welcome to this week's edition of Paradise, Louisiana. Here's Spear Bait and Tackle on Segan Lane. Christmas shopping going on, but a lot of hunting and fishing going on, Don. And I got a new thing I'm going to tell you about it. But tell me what you did this week. You went back with the old haunts in Hopedale.
Yeah, well, I left out of Shell Beach, ended up on the other side of Hopedale. But boy, the speckled trout fishing, I was amazed with the conditions we had to be able to get the type of fishing we had on the speckled trout. Now, you were on the other end of it with the red fishing.
Red fishing, but speckled trout were all over that areas, but we've got Nicky Zaval, big tight end, former quarterback. I didn't know that. And played with LSU back in the Nardo days with LaFleur, and a lot of them great teams. Gary Krause told us one time about fishing from that tower and watching them and sight fishing like, you know, you were with the best. Ryan Lambert, Tofield Bourgeois, they do it on a regular deck. You don't know how they see them, but they spot them and they throw ahead of them. But I was enjoying myself, except for the gnats, but we took care of that too. I hear you had some gnats.
We had gnats. Anytime you go anywhere near Hopedale, this time of year with no wind, you're going to get gnats. We also got the H&H tournament report, and our buddy Garrett Graves, a congressman, we're going to show you how he's putting some of your taxpayer money to work trying to win some progress for us in the fish wars that go on in Washington, D.C. Also got a hunting report, had a second split opening of duck season, and it was everything I think it was cracked up to be. Plus our Berkeley Abu Garcia fishing report. It's all coming to you from Superior Bait and Tackle on Segan Lane in Baton Rouge. You're watching Paradise, Louisiana.
Okay, Brett, safety and car insurance.
Never scored a safety. That's defense. But go on, please.
Yeah, defensive. That's exactly how you should drive.
There is no such thing as a defensive drive. Offense makes the drive.
Oh, I mean when you're on the road.
But it doesn't matter, home or away.
Okay, clearly I'm striking out here.
That's baseball.
Get great auto rates from Farm Bureau Insurance. Call your agent today.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and out in the yard you stumbled upon a Benny's gift card. The most versatile card around is such a treat. A gift to make their car spiffy, sparkling, and neat. With a Benny's gift card, there's so much to do. So gift a card for them and get a free car wash for you.
Welcome back to Paradise, Louisiana. Got to make a trip with a couple of old buddies, Glenn Sanchez, who is now retired, former owner-operator of Breton Sound Marina, and his son, professional guide, Jonathan Sanchez of Real Excitement Charters. Got the two Sanchez and son together, and a couple of special guests made the trip with us. One of Glenn's longtime fishing buddies, Mike from Pennsylvania, and a fellow by the name of Bourgeois. I think he's the only Bourgeois living in Illinois right now, Heath Bourgeois, from Slidell originally, by way of Illinois. He's dying to get back here in Louisiana, and he found out why. He remembered so much about Louisiana on this trip. But what was unusual about this trip, it was coming on the heels of that real hard cold snap we had. We had snow and really icy conditions. The water temperatures had dropped real low. Water temperature when we were fishing in some of the ponds on the south side of the Mr. Go was 49 degrees. Now you get that low, that generally sends speckled trout into a real lethargic state. Now redfish kind of stay active a little longer in cold water just like bass do, but normally not speckled trout. But I'm telling you, from the first cast to the last, it was game on speckled trout. Most of them were caught under a cork with soft plastics, but there was some that tight line, that worked too. A lot of small fish. I would say we caught 200 fish, and probably 90 of them were the keepers, but it was probably 200 to get those 90 to give you an idea. Every once in a while you might catch one around 16 inches, but for the most part they were those 14, 15-inch speckled trout and some undersized. But it was great fishing. Remember your gnat protection this time of the year, and I know you're going to have a follow-up on gnats where you were fishing. Amber Romance is what I used. We had some of that on the boat and applied it, and that kept us going. But 9:30 in the morning, we were done and headed back to the marina with some beautiful videotape. We're going to let you look at some of it and hear from these guys from out of state that can't wait to get back to Louisiana to catch fish. Jonathan, we pulled up here and immediately started catching fish. We got low, cold water, but they're biting like a summertime bite. What is going on?
They don't have many places to roam. They're kind of trapped. We got them caught up in a pocket of a little pool of water. And the water's right at 50 degrees. That'll work.
Yes, sir. I'll tell you what a wonderful day out here in the water with you guys. It's been amazing. It's good to be back home and to smell the marsh mud and just to catch all these beautiful trout. It's been a great day.
What would people in Illinois think when you tell them about a trip like this?
It's kind of hard to put into words. It's one of those deals. I think you would have to be here to experience it, because you really can't explain it unless you actually experience it yourself. Yes.
What's amazing is this never gets old. You can do this every day.
I know.
I wish they were a little bit bigger, but guess what? I don't really care.
These little ones are goodies.
Yeah.
Mike, you're kind of in the same situation. You're not quite as far as Illinois. You're in Tennessee. How's this been for you coming back home?
No words. It's amazing.
This is kind of a reunion, too. You and Glenn fished together for a long time.
Oh, a very long time. Yeah. What year we met, Glenn? 89?
89. The Kaiser aluminum.
Yep, 89. We've met many 3-day shrimp trips together, many fishing trips together.
Just doesn't seem to be enough trout in Tennessee, does it?
Yeah, rainbows.
Rainbows.
Yeah, rainbows.
Bass.
We've been fishing mostly today with just a soft plastic matrix shad. Doesn't really matter what color. About 2 or 3 foot under a cork. In the little puddle of water we was able to find. The reason they're there is they got some shells on the bottom. This whole pond area drains into this little hole. All the fish are kind of just stacked up, waiting to eat. So we can pitch out a rubber. You could even do it on the bottom on a jig head. Just work it slow and catch some fish.
Well, you got deep water right here, and you have the ledge that comes up, and they right on the ledge, and they kind of waiting for the bait to come across the ledge. And they waiting for the sun to come up so they can get a little heat.
Unbelievable. I can't thank Jonathan and Glenn enough. I really can't.
Yeah. Thank both of you guys. It's been
Like I said, it kind of tears me up too. It just really does. And
yeah.
I sure
It's been a
do miss it.
fantastic day. Yeah, I'm 600 miles from saltwater, so
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 530, so you know.
Pod's moving in storage.
I need to clean out my study.
We'll deliver a container.
My brother-in-law's moving in.
Maybe he'll help you pack.
He's lazy.
We can refer some professionals.
It's just until he finds work.
We can keep things at our storage center for as long as it takes.
I am not happy about this.
Or you can keep your things on site for quick unloading.
Did you say freeloading?
I said unloading.
I heard freeloading.
I'm sure you did.
Store on site or let us drive your things to our secure storage center. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
Welcome back to Paradise, Louisiana. And Gary, I got my LSU hat on appropriately for today's feature with Nicky Savoy, former LSU great who has turned into tournament fisherman now. Pretty good at it.
And oh yeah, they're national champion. Him and Paul Dufresne, they won the national championship. They won the local deal, and they won the overall championship. He can explain it to you. Sometimes he got so many redfish tours, and he probably fishes them all. You know, we got Tito's, and then the other one, and the elite. I know he's always been up there in the elite. The elite ain't quite so popular as it used to be around here, this area, but it's still going on. They got one in Texas. During the interview, I'll let him tell you more about it, but let me tell you what, in my part, there was a lot of people at the landing. There were a lot of fish being caught in the catfish area, in Bar Blue area. There's a lot of trout being caught. Redfish are everywhere. Everywhere I stopped, people were talking about redfish, catching them on sparkle beetles, smoke sparkle beetles with the red dot on it, regular smoke grub, black and chartreuse, swim baits, H&H swim baits, cockle minnows, matrix shad, anyone you know, swim baits, they're catching fish on. He stuck with the swim baits. He fished Bass Assassin, he fishes H&H, he fishes matrix, he fishes all of them, okay? Dufresne is a big gulp guy. You know, he fishes a gulp a lot of times, but to climb in that tower and watch this boat he got. Now, two things I'm gonna brag on. One is the save the day was his boat. It's a Baser Blade. I saw it run in water that deep. The troll motors, them new ones, Minn Kotas that come up. It's unbelievable. They got the power poles. All that stuff is necessary. I'm telling you, we were in water like this, and that boat was floating.
That's what you need.
With a guy weighed about 280.
You're going to win tournaments, you've got to have the equipment it takes.
And they do, and I'm telling you what, runs smooth. He says he runs the bays with it. He brags on it. I don't have a boat sponsor, but I'll brag on a boat that's performing good, and it did. Also, at Ultrasign, I've been trying for 10, 12 years to get them to, these send me some free samples. They won't do it. If anybody from 3M was watching, it did the trick again. The gnats were getting bad around the nose and the ears, and we had enough clothes on. We didn't have to worry about it, but let me tell you what, it did the trick. But I learned so much from watching these guys fish and him talking about how they target these fish and how he wins. You can tell he's a great athlete. He's a great athlete. He also played for the Saints, you know. And I got to tour his room where he got all his memorabilia. And he's just a super guy, and he loves what he's doing at fishing. He loves competition. His partner calling us all during the day. He couldn't go. Tito's was supposed to be there. Benny Sanchez. I was going to call you a candy, Benny, because it was okay. I didn't think you did, but he's a family man. Because we postponed it, his daughter had a Christmas play. He's just like you, Don. When the kids and grandkids come first, you did a great job. We missed you, but we didn't need you. So here we are right now. Nicky Savoy, super athlete, super guy. And they are the, I guess you call them national champions or the world champions, but here they are, Nicky Savoy.
When I'm scouting for a tournament, what happens is I usually try to go where everybody passes up, where nobody usually goes at all. Less boat traffic, or even more boat traffic, should I say, but nobody fishes, nobody puts a line in the water. Fish are used to boats going, but they're not used to seeing baits in that area. So what we look for is where somebody that just rides by all the time, just cruising by and never fishes the area, we go in and we try to fish it and see if they have fish there, because it's not overfished. So more than likely, fish are easier to catch. We pretty much, from doing it so long, years and years, that we pretty much have a knack for when we see fish. We usually know if they ride at tournament size, what's their weight by looking at their head. So we don't kill a lot of time by trying to catch every fish and decide, oh well, these are too small or something like that. We pretty much have it down where we see fish and we pretty much know how much they weigh and what their size are. So it helps fishing a lot. This is tournament life. A lot of times you cannot tell where they're facing, especially when you don't see their tail when they're just sitting underwater when you fish in these big grass flats, what happens is they get in there and they're not even moving, they're just sitting down in it. And by being on the deck, you can't see them. By being 6-10 foot in the air, you can see what direction they're facing and you can spot them easier, which in the long run helps you. You get so used to this tower with 2 people that when you fish in a tournament, you're up here hours upon hours scouting, and then for tournaments, you're up here 8 hours a day. So your legs get used to it. It's like sea legs when you first get up here, and you don't get used to it. The first time I got on this tower, because it's probably 2 foot higher than my old tower, I was nervous, and then my partner got nervous, and then everybody gets shaky legs, so the tower starts shaking. But now we're so used to it. It's like tough climate. We run up and down, and you get used to it really fast. So I'm glad y'all getting to experience how high we get for when we fish tournaments, because you can see so far into the horizon. The further you see the redfish, the better off you are, and the more of a chance is you're going to catch them.
That's a big one.
That's a sheephead right there too.
Oh,
there he is.
Good one. You spotted that one. That was perfect.
After we made our way through all these,
talk to me.
After we made our way out through these sheephead and stuff, we finally found us another red that wanted to eat. For as cold as it has been, these fish are fighting rarely good, because usually in the wintertime these fish don't fight so hard.
He ate it for sure.
That's a good tournament fish right there. That's a real good. Why we don't have tournaments in the wintertime, I don't know, because the weights would be outrageous. They golf themselves.
They get belly.
He's probably a little too long. He's probably 29 inches.
But he weighed. You got a scale on it?
He got some really good weight. He's right at 9 pounds. But he's like probably 20.
You ain't got a ruler in there?
No, I took it out. But that's a 29-inch redfish. A little too big, but you can see right here they gouge themselves to see how wide it is. They've been feeding so hard lately during the wintertime.
Talk a little louder.
They've been fighting them. They've been eating so much during the wintertime that they're getting really, really fat.
Yeah.
And my buddy said the other day he cleaned some. He couldn't eat no more. He don't know. He had a 6-inch mullet in him. He was 27 inches. He said it's been awesome. So here's to you guys. Wish y'all were here. Let's go catch another. Oh, let it go. There he ate it. Ooh. A little bit smaller than the other one. That's not the one that came up.
You're right. That don't make no difference. Just get him on camera. Go ahead, Nick. It's that wire.
We're gonna bring that one on up.
Now, that's perfect eating size.
That's a good eating size. That's the ones that's next year after. It's gonna be really good.
I thought you were gonna have a tag in it.
Me too. That's what it looked like. It looked like a tag was in that came out or something. But hard to beat. A good fight, good tasting, good fish.
Oh.
used to come back here when we were little, and when we were getting into fishing. I guess it was more of a hangout thing with our friends. We used to come back here all the time, and it didn't matter. We used to throw a shrimp on the bottom, a shrimp on the cork, and we used to catch ice chests of sheep heads. And then we used to go home. We were so young, and then we used to try to figure out how to clean them, in which, as y'all know, a sheep head's not easy to clean until you get used to it. So we used to catch them, and we used to slaughter them, and we used to have little bitty chunks of meat. And now it's like, we don't even mess with them, and they are some of the best eating fish. It's a white meat, very good tasting, and a lot of people just pass them on up. But now we're after redfish.
Is it better fishing like this in low water, or you rather have it high?
Well, what we do, like I tell a lot of guys that say, well, you going fishing, you don't pay attention to the tide, you don't pay attention to the weather. When you tournament fish, it's a set date. Don't matter about the tide, don't matter about the weather, you going fishing. So whenever we do anything, you know, a lot of people say, well, we watch this, we watch that. I'm like, we don't have a choice. We're gonna fish it. So to say I rather, well, when I'm just going fun fishing, yeah, I'd rather pick my day. But a lot of times you don't have that chance or opportunity to do that. So I just love to fish. So if I catch
what you
fish,
do like when you got a low water day like this?
when I got a low water day today, I like points and I like cuts. And if the water's moving, that's usually where your fish are hanging out. Lately, that's where they all have been, and on oyster flats, oyster reefs. But as soon as the water stops, the fishing has been stopping.
Well, what about them gnats all around your nose right now in your ear?
Yeah, I don't like them. Usually when that happens, I usually go home, or I have this.
You can't do it on a tournament, though.
Not on a tournament. You deal with it.
You put that.
Well, this year we had a real good year. My partner and I in the IFA Redfish Series, Paul Dufresne and I, for the second year in a row, we captured Team of the Year. This year we actually won the tournament to claim Team of the Year, and we've been very successful in this series, and it's like a life-changing thing for us because we've been so close so many times, and now it's like everybody says, man, y'all finally did it, and we've been so close that it's like finally. So it's a big weight off our shoulders, and we look forward to doing it again next year. We have so many good friends that we fish with. It's so competitive that you never know who's going to be on top. You have an idea of should I say, who usually have so many people that you fish with that you can tell.
Start over again.
Yeah,
Go back and tell. That's all right. Just start back. You know who the main competitors are. You've been in a long time. Who your main competition are every year? Chrissy, starting over. Go ahead. Don't just start where you got in that stuttering part.
Yeah. You know who your main competition is because you fish with these guys in a lot of different circuits, and so you know who's going to be at the top of the chain. But we love fishing. It's in our blood. We've been doing it since we're young. We're just getting better at it every year. And but to get into it, you need to put your time in. It don't come overnight. You might have beginner success. We had a little bit of that. Then we took a big leap down, and then now we're on our way back up. It's been we've been fishing for about 14.
There's not a whole lot of money in there. You got these boats now that are $100,000.
Yeah, they got these. We don't do it for the money. We do it for the bragging rights because everybody, the crews we hang out with, we give a little bit sass to, but we do it mostly for the bragging rights. We don't make a living out of this. Paul has a job. I have a job. And we do it for fun. We do it for the bragging rights, and it's just fun. It's competitive. And when you played sports all your life, when you're done with it and you can't run no more, you get old, you decide, what can I do to stay competitive? And fishing's one thing that anybody in the world can stay competitive at.
Hold on, I was going to ask something, I forgot.
Well, we do fish a lot of different circuits. We fish the Elite Series, we fish the Elite Team Series, we fish Tito's, which is upcoming and awesome. Benny's got it on the rise. It's a good circuit for beginners to pros. I mean, it's a really good circuit to go with. IFA is a really good circuit also. Usually have 120 boats in each tournament. Rudy's also has a good tournament. They started a few years ago that we're looking at getting into this year. Jeff is doing a really good job with that stuff.
Out of Texas?
It's out of Texas. You got 2 Louisiana tournaments, 2 Texas tournaments, and it is taken off. And he does a phenomenal job with it. But we can't do this stuff without our sponsors, which my big sponsor is Walk-On's Bistro, #1 sports bar in America, which is really good. Opening a bunch of new locations, probably in all you guys' area. Monster Wraps, which does all our wraps on our boats, and Dufresne's Building Material. My partner owns Dufresne's Building Material, which has been a really good sponsor for us. So Evan Rude Outboards gets us to and from where we're going. It's been very reliable. Power Pole is also a really good thing. You need it, and especially on a windy day. So our heritage is good to us. People have been good to us. Our sponsors have been good to us, and we got to go somewhere else.
You know, you both got a job.
Yes.
Now, you fishing all these tournaments. How you get off? How your boss let y'all off? Well, Paul's his own boss, I guess, but...
Paul, you see, my boss sponsors me, so it's kind of hard for him to sponsor me and not let me go do some fishing. So, Quality Company has been really good to me. Quality Company's out of Youngsville. Troy Collins, you the man. Thank you for all you do for me and my family. And Oilfield needs to pick up because we need some work, and we staying above water, but we can definitely use a lot of work.
Tell me about your Cajun heritage. Tell me what you have, all the people and all the great people I know of that come from Lafourche Parish.
Well, you know, a while back we did a big thing at South Lafourche a couple of years ago for Ronnie Esch Day, and Ronnie played ball at LSU. He went to Canada. He played a lot of ball, and he started reading this list.
5 Hall of Fame.
It's unbelievable. Reading this list of what he has accomplished, and we sat in the stands for 20-30 minutes listening to all these accomplishments, and we were like, really, dude, when did you have time to do all this stuff? But that's the kind of people we grew up with some Ronnie Esch Days, Gil Matern, the Bordelons, Cantrell, Arthur. You know, it's been a phenomenal ride. And then you got Bobby Hebert on the radio still today, and he does an excellent job. He's hilarious. I love him to death. So Bebe Ogeron, LSU Tigers, we need a W. And we love you for our coach. Bayou produces a lot of good people, and I hope y'all get to meet some of them because they are phenomenal. Before we get back to fishing, I want to mention a couple of guys that are from this area that have been on top of these fishing tournaments for a while and really are doing well, accomplished a lot. Lance Reynolds, Paul Dufresne, Jay Sedetol. I mean, it has been phenomenal, the guys down here that are on the top level of all these fishing tournaments and maintaining it, not just having luck for 1 year. They are staying at the top of these games every tournament, in and out each day. So congrats to all you guys, and I wouldn't do it without you guys because you all are great.
There's 8 redfish right there.
8?
Yeah, at least.
I don't see them. Oh,
there you go. You threw right in them.
Oh, get the camera on.
It's on.
You got it on my
It's on. It's I got you. There was 8 redfish right there.
So 8 redfish right there, and I didn't see them. Ain't no baby either.
What you think about that?
I see him.
Need to get you a glass.
Good.
A glass of sponsors.
Huh?
Need to get you a glass sponsors.
Get him on camera. Right. Get him on camera.
That's a good fish.
You got the bass inside. Come on. He's fat, like the ones you caught the other day. Yeah, he ain't big, but he is really
That's
cool.
a perfect fish.
You want to throw him in the boat?
Here, just lift him. Go with his momentum.
I won't break your rod.
No, you got to go with his momentum. You good? Put your rod right there. Well,
yeah.
What do you think?
I think I'm gonna thank you. I want to kiss you, but you're too big. Too high. I'd have to jump and kiss you. This is completely different. I've been fishing redfish all my life. I've been covering circuits all my life. Redfish circuits. And the guys tell me when you get up here, it's completely different. There ain't no fan casting. Now, Ryan Lambert, some of them guys, even on decks, can spot them. This guy can spot them. Got good glasses. It ain't all about the glasses, but he just seen them fish. He said there's 8 of them in there. I never saw the first one. He said, throw over there, don't listen to me. As soon as it hit the water, and there's a fish on it. So,
well, good job.
I want to catch more. He's on the camera. Benny, you messed us up. But you did take care of family business, I understand. I want to go catch another one.
There we go. I had a great day on the water. The black cloud is off of Mr. Gary today. Started off a little slow, but ended up really well. Ended up catching a bunch of reds, caught a bunch of trout. We were talking earlier about playing sports. He didn't know that I played he didn't know I was a quarterback, actually. He thought I was like a defensive lineman. So I started playing quarterback my junior year in high school. What a terrific time. It was awesome. Great friends, great camaraderie. It was everything about high school was great. And left high school and I went to Arizona Western Junior College in Yuma, Arizona. And played football and baseball there. Then left there and I transferred to Mississippi Gulf Coast in Perk, Mississippi, and played football and baseball there. And coming out of high school, before that, I could have went played with Atlanta Braves, which would have been awesome. But I'm glad I went to school and had a wonderful time. Met a bunch of wonderful people, great people. Went to LSU. What a blast. Memories that I will never forget. Coach DiNardo, Coach Elias, wonderful people. It's a family you join that you will never forget, and when you walk around campus today 20 years later, people still remember you. Then we went on to the NFL, and it was a good experience for me. Wish it would have lasted longer, but it's tough, and had fun. But my life now, I love being competitive, so we started fishing. And what a blast it has been. Won my first tournament in 2010. Me and my partner Paul Dufresne fishing the Texas Redfish Series, and it was a blast, and it just motivated us to keep going on and on and on. And this year we ended up winning the overall Team of the Year for Inshore Fishing Association, the IFA, and it's been wonderful. Love fishing. It's something that eases your mind, and it's wonderful. Some of my favorite moments of playing sports was when I scored a touchdown against Auburn in '95.
Howard rolling, open, touchdown. Nicky Savoy, the tight end.
Andy, there was no one around Nicky Savoy that time. He was wide open in the end zone.
And we ended up beating them to get him back from the year before, and when Jamie had such a not so good game. But just the memories. That was one of my memories from college that I will never forget. It was amazing. Running out the tunnel at Tiger Stadium, just being there in the crowd, I still get we call it frissons, and it's just amazing place to play, amazing place to have played, and I wish everybody in the state of Louisiana would stay in state and play there. There's one more thing I'd like to say before we end this interview is go Coach O, go Tigers, always LSU.
Welcome to the Paradise, Louisiana news segment. Good news coming out of Washington. Garrett Graves, our congressman, really keeps an eye on the fisheries issues for the sportsmen of Louisiana, and he made a little bit of progress with a couple of bills he's been speaking up for that are going before passage in Washington, D.C. So we're going to hear from him, let him tell you, and let you have a bird's eye view of what goes on in the legislature.
Amendment number 94, what it does is currently under Magnuson-Stevens fisheries, there's a definition section that defines the term bycatch. What that says in section 3, paragraph 2, the term bycatch means fish which are harvested in a fishery but which are not sold or kept for personal use and includes economic discards and regulatory discards. Here's the relevant sentence. Such term does not include fish released alive under a recreational catch and release fishery management program. Now, whenever you go recreationally fish, you go catch salmon, you go catch whatever, and you catch and release, you throw the fish back. Under this definition, it is unclear whether or not if you take your kids out fishing, you may be required to report back your bycatch, that your catch and release is a bycatch. So all this does is this just removes the term management program to make it clear that the definition says such term does not include fish released alive under a recreational catch and release fishery. So this is just designed to prevent a scenario where recreational fishers may be required to report bycatch whenever they take their kids fishing, catch a fish, and release it. I'll say it again, no nefarious intent. In cases when I don't tell you that, it probably means I'm up to something. But this is designed, and I want to be clear that under the way this is exercised today, this is implemented today, it is implemented consistent with what our amendment does. We just want to ensure that the definition is clear moving forward, that when you go recreationally fish and release a fish, it is not subjected to a bycatch reporting requirement. Yield back.
Mr. Graves, quickly.
Mr. Chairman, just briefly want to say, I want to thank the gentleman from California. I understand your concerns. As you know, we reported a very different bill out of this committee last Congress. We did try very hard to work with environmental groups, many others to try and come to consensus. And I said this yesterday in the opening statement. The goal line was moved on us about 3 times. It's very difficult to negotiate when the goal line moves. We tried very hard. Lastly, I think it's important to put things in context. I don't know if you have that slide, but Mr. Huffman, the total fishing trips in California, on the West Coast, all 3 states on the West Coast, was about 5.5 million trips. In the Gulf Coast, it's about 20 million. There's a lot of disparity. And in the state of Alaska, Mr. Young, I think it's around 1 million. There's a lot of disparity, and I think the fishing pressures are different in different regions. And so just like your Dungeness crab, just like the striped bass, just like salmon, you tailor management strategies in some instances to the actual demand on the fisheries. I think that this is a better solution for the Gulf Coast. Certainly understand there's different solutions for the West Coast, for Alaska, and others. 2/3 of the fishing trips in the Gulf of Mexico are fishing for fish that are managed by the state in the states, and we do it very well. We want to sustainably manage the fisheries. I look forward to working with you moving forward, and yield back.
The best part about being a member of a Touchstone Energy Cooperative is that it's your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. That's the power of your co-op membership.
Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Pods moving and storage.
We just sold our house.
Congratulations.
We have 2 weeks to move.
We'll deliver a few containers.
Our new home's not ready.
No problem. You can store things with us while you're between homes.
We might need help.
We'll refer trusted packers.
We'll be staying at my brother's.
Well, that sounds...
He has kids of his own.
Well...
5 of them.
Ma'am?
Help.
Trust us for local and long-distance moving and store at our storage centers. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
Welcome to the Paradise, Louisiana Hunting Report. We're on the heels of the opening of the second split. Wildlife and Fisheries survey numbers on the flyover were really good, double the amount of ducks in this month's flyover as opposed to November. Hunters went out Saturday morning. I had our Duck Central radio reports from blinds all over. Started off a little slow, but ended up picking up steam as it went. And then the following day of the weekend, we had a little blow came through South Louisiana, and it got the ducks moving again, but the hunters weren't out there putting up with a lot of heavy rain. They got in before that was over. But all in all, I think it was to be as expected, the reopening of the duck season.
I didn't get to go to my lease, but my grandson started reporting early. In Venice, they limited out. They had 8 guys. They out there at a bachelor party. They staying at Venice Marina, thanks to Mike and all the crew out there. They take care of these boys. They shot some video. We'll be showing you in a couple of weeks. But they killed a lot of ducks. They killed scaup, ringneck, but they had a lot of teal. They had gray ducks. You know, they killed an array of ducks out in Venice, and they had a lot of shooting all the way around in Venice. So they got it. I'm sure you got something from Ryan out in that area in Buras, and it was gone. Now Sunday, he called me. He said they were in that pro drive and they weren't going to go down. The river got rough, and where he hunts, he didn't want to take the chance, and I thank you for being smart enough not to get in the river. I haven't got the rest of the report, but Saturday was tremendous. They were going to look somewhere Saturday evening maybe to go out, but they had their limit just to scout to try to find out where they could hunt Sunday evening. So the other reports I got, the bad report was from Delacroix, where my lease is. Mike Ben says the worst opening day of the second split that he can remember. Said they had a few blinds killed, 3 or 4. Some of them didn't do nothing. My brother, Port Barry, he killed 1 in the field. My grandsons and them were in the woods in Port Barry, killed zilch. Had some boys working. Another blind was working, the same ones. They shot, no good. Blake Swallow, up there in Catahoula, all the blinds did good. Mer Rouge, and by the way, Top Gun, they got openings. And in the second split, they still got geese, they got everything. So go on the website and call Kobe if you want to book a hunt. Now's the time to do it, because you know, before you know it, they go all the way to the end of the month. But some of these other places you want to book, I don't know how you can get in touch with them, but you go on their website and find it. Don, another bad place I heard, and I didn't get a whole lot of report, Pecan Island, like you said, is hit or miss. I don't know what else to tell you. Byron Briggs, Whitefield, a couple of blinds did real good. Buckley Kessler, they said one of the best opening days they had on Highway 71. Hardly where the Clove Fries, not that far from Port Barry. I don't know what it is, but you're getting all these good reports, just like we got a bad report at the opening split, the flyover, then all of a sudden people were killing ducks. what can you figure that?
Well, it's a lot of times it's just one locale to another. Sometimes the pressure has something to do with it, but you think on the opening day, if there were ducks there, they should be there. Talked to Darren Digby. He was hunting around Monkey off of Highway 71, those rice fields there. He had kind of a slow start too in a rice field area there. I'll tell you who did really well is Roland Cortez. And he was north of the state line up in Arkansas, south of Stuttgart in that area there. And look at the pile of speckled-bellied geese they got up there. Speckled-bellied goose hunting has been really good in a lot of places this year.
I got a report. Didn't have any wind, didn't little fog, but he still scrapped some. Goose Hunters Incorporated, the Goose Guides Incorporated. They did very good out there, considering the conditions. And Clint Matthews and him sent him. I'm sure he got some openings too, so y'all might want to call him.
Now on the deer front, some areas, my area, I spent some time on a deer stand last week, hoping that the rut would kick in a little early. We're normally Christmas, New Year's, and it looks like it's going to be right on time. Not many signs of rutting at all. There was one deer we had on camera chasing does. Other than that, we haven't seen a lot of scrapes or any movement of those deer. However, other areas in the state where it is kicked in, they're doing pretty well on deer.
Yeah, I got the Fraser sent me a fishing and a deer picture, so I want to thank them, and it was a pretty good deer. But everybody else, you look around, I don't know what they were busy, they didn't send me, but I heard the same thing you hearing right now. But in that ranch in Kentwood, that's the A-Bear Deer Ranch, they got high fence. They got that one deer they're picking out, but they couldn't get a good clear shot and get them. They got a lot of deer. We got some video we'll probably show you in a couple of weeks. But the weather changed and went from cold to warm to hot. So I don't know what it causes, what it affects the deer hunting, but it does.
All right, we'll be right back after this with the Berkeley Abu Garcia Fishing Report on Paradise, Louisiana.
Ask me about my Tempur-Pedic.
Ask me how fast I fall asleep.
Why not talk to someone who's sleeping on the most highly recommended bed in America?
Ask me about staying asleep.
Tempur-Pedic owners are more satisfied than owners of any traditional mattress brand.
Ask me how it feels after 10 years.
Tempur-Pedic, the most highly recommended bed in America.
Ask about Tempur-Pedic at Olin's, where you know you always get the guaranteed low price. Olin's is the only store in Baton Rouge and Lafayette with the full line of Tempur-Pedics.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and out in the yard you stumbled upon a Benny's gift card. The most versatile card around is such a treat. A gift to make their car spiffy, sparkling, and neat. With a Benny's gift card, there's so much to do. So gift a card for them and get a free car wash for you.
Welcome to the Berkeley Abu Garcia Fishing Report. Gary, I don't know whether this should have went in the hunting or the fishing report, but bow fishing. Real popular this time of the year. We got so many things going on, but because it gets dark early, you get an earlier start. You're not out all night long. Picture you see in here is Dr. Lauren Dubuque Venon. She went out on her very first bow fishing trip and got a limit of 5 redfish. Now you know how hard hitting redfish with a bow and arrow is. She's destined to be a real great bow fisher person. So congratulations to Lauren.
Does she bow hunt?
She does bow hunt for deer, and she started to gun hunt now with her husband.
Dubuque, how is she getting to you?
She's my niece. That's
Your
my
niece?
niece, yeah.
Wow, great.
So congratulations to her. Moving on to the fishing part of it, you saw what we did. We had to fight with gnats, but we had some great speckled trout and red fishing all the way across from the middle part of the state where you are, all the way to the east part around Hopedale, Shell Beach area, Pontchartrain, Chef, all those areas continue to produce trout. One thing was very noticeable last week, and it's probably changed this week, low water. There were a lot of areas where there were mud flats shown and the ponds were drained, but the water has come back up since then, so it's about average. How that's going to affect the speckled trout bite, again, it's going to depend on how low that water temperature drops. But there's been good fishing so far this winter for saltwater inside, for sure. Also talked out to up by Calcasieu, our friend over there at Hackberry Rod and Gun, Kirk Stansel.
I've not been getting any reports.
Well, he said the fishing was really good over there. The tides were low, but that Turner Bay area, mostly on the north side, they were fishing strictly artificial. There's no more live bait available in that area. And they use that real popular bait they have called the Hackberry Hustler. It's got the big eyes on it.
Right.
So fishing all the way on that part. So that really makes it from Texas to Mississippi along the coast, at least for last week. Redfish and speckled trout was on.
Well, Don, you talking about low water? Well, the day we was out, I was talking about the boat being in low water. You could see at the landing there when we left in Golden Meadow, the public landing, and you can see how low the water is. A lot of those people, you know what was amazing? A lot of those fish are biting in the afternoons, in the evening. The water was so low, they must come back. And at the landing, there was a lot of people fishing around the landings when we came in. And they've been catching speckled trout and redfish off the bank right there at the public landing in Golden Meadow. Another place that we've been fishing off the bank again is Highway 1. The Duprees, Mr. Warren and Miss Henrietta, they've been living out on speckled trout off of Highway 1, walking the bank. Tommy Vidring's been fishing the rocks, but he's also, you know, him, this time of year, he'll go up down Highway 1 when that north wind is blowing. You'll see him, he'll be wrapped up, you know, like he's in the North Pole. But I'll tell you what, he's still catching fish. He's catching them on tsunami. These other people are using live bait, but they were using sparkle beetles. Henrietta and Mr. Dupree, they were using sparkle beetles, regular old H&H sparkle beetles under a cart, catching lemons to trout. So a lot of people in that area are catching fish off the bank, no boat, no nest there, off the bridges. The Leeville Bridge is another one that's putting out. So I've got a lot of kids come in right now. Matthew Dees now, he's fishing up in Watson. Now, freshwater should have been a freshwater report, but I don't have a whole lot. But Matthew, his daughter London and his son Brock sent me their first fish. They got one of them holding a big sac-a-lait and one of them holding his first bass. So I want to thank Matt for sending that. Corey McBride has been fishing all over the Hopedale area, Delacroix area. He's been slaughtered. Him and his friend Tammy, he's multiple pictures. He sends me all the time. He's been bragging about how many redfish they catching the limit, throwing them back. He sent me, got fish by his feet. So Corey, thank you. They've been keeping in touch, but you can slow down a little bit right now because you're about to kill me. He's sending me too many pictures. Kelly Giat sent me some picture of his daughter London. By the way, she spells her name a little bit different. I thought that was very unique. Her first redfish, she spells it Londyn. Well, I got two Londons down. The London D's in that. I thought that was real unique. Two Londons, spell their name different. London Giat, first redfish, beautiful sunrise. Her face a little dark, but they got the sunrise in. Turned out to be a beautiful picture. They were fishing in the Wrigley's. I got something real unique. My cousin, Paul Schute, my first cousin's son, he came to LSU to go to school. He's an LSU graduate, moved back up to New York. He sent me a picture. He caught a redfish in South Carolina. I can't even pronounce the name of the island, but he's 32-inch redfish. Paul, thank you. Merry Christmas. Kiss my cousin for me. And then Island Marina, we're getting reports. Calvin Duval, one of the best captains over there, sent me fish he's been running to Delacroix and just stacking limits. They're coming back and forth just like y'all doing down there. You can see one of these pictures. I see striped bass, I see sheephead, I see bass, I see redfish, I see speckled trout. So they can catch almost anything over there right now in Delacroix and a lot of those areas. In the Grand Pontchartrain area, still. All over the Wrigley's, everywhere they're catching bass. Mike Stevenson and them are still catching bass. They're I'm getting pictures of bass right there from the Lamberts, right there in the Cohagen Canal. I just can't imagine all of them. Now, the drop shot and the weather's been a little rough, the wind, I haven't got nothing specifically from Grand Isle, but do you get anything from that area?
Well, Grand Isle, not so much from down on the lower end of the island, but all those upper reaches up there where you can get to, Fouchon, Golden Meadow, La Rose, Leeville, all those places. That's all been on real good for speckled trout and redfish.
Well, Lafitte, still hot. Brian and Chandler Young, two good friends of mine. I took a little boy over there, went with Craig DeGrees. You know, he's been sending us some stuff over there. Catching trout in the 50s, catching redfish. and every now and then they catch a bass. So that's it. Tom?
You were talking about the sulfur mine. A couple notes came in this week. You familiar with, some people call it basins, some people call it basins marina.
Basin.
Go over the levee. It's an access point to get to the sulfur mine and some of those other areas around the Galliano cutoff area. It's now got a new name. It's called Gator Cove. No longer known as basins, real popular with a lot of the kayak fishermen. Something else with the kayak fishermen, Danica Williams said that the boats on the bayou, where you can put the boat in Bayou St. John during the City Park Big Bass Rodeo, has been set for March 24th, so you might want to put that on your calendar.
To all y'all deer hunters, and there's a lot of water that's low in different areas, the Mississippi River is down and low. A lot of these sloughs now are stopped, Lake Mary and all them. I hear these deer hunters, they're going to their camp. I see one sitting over there right now, Mr. Stuso showed me a picture. He's catching 20 and 25 pound stringers if he'd be in a tournament right there in all those sloughs and bayous and stuff that come off the Mississippi River from Natchez all the way. Rusty Capo told me the other day he was catching the biggest sackler he ever caught. While everybody else deer hunting, he gets to wait till it warms up. He gets in a little plateau, a two-man boat, and catching some monster sackler.
Nothing wrong with catching fish while you're wearing camouflage. Also, next week coming up, we've got 5 new #1 state record fish we'll announce and show you the photos of those as we close out the year next week. Don't close us out. Get your photographs in. Send them to us of your latest catches. Gary at ParadiseLouisiana.com. If you're shooting with a cell phone, which is what most people do these days, take it horizontally. It fits our screen much, much better. Include who you are, where you are, and how you caught or bagged your game. And we'll make you a star here on Paradise, Louisiana.
Yeah, I just want to remind them too, in that next week's show we might not have a fishing report because sometimes we jump up because of Christmas. It'll be 2 weeks old, and I don't want to give you nothing 2 weeks old. I don't want anybody talking bad about me saying, oh, you got that report, it was old. Next week won't be no fishing report, it'll just be old.
All right, you're going to see some of the fun times we had during 2017 coming up on Paradise, Louisiana.
Paradise, Louisiana is presented by Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Pods, moving and storage solved. Baton Rouge Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change, Louisiana Fish Fry Products, and by CCA Louisiana and the CCA Louisiana Star Tournament.